All right, well, this is my intro.
That was horrible. I was like, Serge, make an intro.
Well, folks, welcome to another episode of the... Dude, you do it so well. I don't know why I'm doing this intro. Y'all know that Mark does it best. This is my intro for his intro. So I'm introducing Mark to do the intro right now.
Hey, how's it going, you guys? Welcome to another episode of Coffee Roaster Warm-Up Sessions. This is going to be a fun one. We're getting a little riled up on this one because something I'm passionate about. I don't know. I guess I'm excited about every episode. I don't think there's been an episode where I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. So, but like always, let's pour some batchy.
I gotta add a little aeration.
Oh, yeah. Swirl.
It needs a little bit ASMR. That one person that loved the ASMR, I wonder if we can get this mic.
Oh, that's excellent.
I think we got it. Did I spill any?
No.
Oh, dude, the aromas. Man,
Dude.
so good.
Yes. Oh, dude, be careful.
That was a bold one.
I know.
Dude, I forgot my taster's cup at home.
Dude. You can't taste the coffee anymore without your taster.
Mm-hmm.
Serge, I feel like there's a beard here in here.
Dang it. I just got it trimmed.
Serge, come on.
Are you serious? There's a beard here?
No, that's wonderful. I'll take
The cup
it.
is probably dirty.
That could have been it.
It
too,
was in my
actually.
pocket, too.
Dude, I love it. Oh, no, it's probably like a gray fuzzy from your sweater. It's
Ah.
wonderful. Who doesn't like a little gray fuzzy from your sweater?
Dude, better than a fly.
Definitely better than a fly.
Melon.
Tasty.
Melon, yeah. Eucalyptus on the back end.
Nice jammy body. I'll take that. I love a good jammy body. It's a little too hot. It's literally fresh out of the pot.
Too hot. Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard. I love tasting coffees when they're pretty cool.
For sure. I mean, I don't want to be cliche and say, man, I love to test out the range of the coffee. The range. From a good old 160-degree brew to a 120. No, but yeah, there is like a progression in flavor from hot to cold.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know if this is true, but I heard someone once say that coffee or flavor in general is perceived best at body temp.
Yeah, actually, I heard
true.
also your tasting palate can taste the most at body temp as well. Yeah. And that's why some beverages, they purposely dump a bunch of ice in there so they get really cold, so your palate's not picking up all the nuances.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But that's what I heard.
Up.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a little cover up because at that point, I mean, you're just enjoying, a cold one.
Yeah.
Whatever. So
that's a neat fact.
Yeah. I don't know. You guys, we need a fact checker back in here.
Oh, yeah. We do.
Yeah. That being said, what is factual is that this might be, I don't know yet, this might be the last episode in this roasting space, which is super bittersweet.
Yes.
Because I just love the vibe in here. Mm-hmm. I love the beauty Mr. Diedrich right there, or Mrs. Diedrich. I don't even know.
I don't know.
Yeah. Just chilling right there and hanging out.
Yeah. Even the wood paneling, the way it looks in frame, the leading lines.
Yeah.
We've got it set up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be the same in a much bigger, emptier space.
Yeah. Which
is unfortunate. But speaking of leading lines, this slays leading lines. It's so fun to take photos in, and like if you can use the lines to your advantage, you can get some really tasty photos in here just because you have so much direction going.
Yeah.
Which is actually surprisingly exactly what we're going to be talking about today. Mm-hmm. Well, not really, not quite really. We did want to touch up on social media. Social media, I don't know if did you watch the Social Dilemma?
No, I have not. I'm scared.
Okay, good. There's after you do watch it, you can tell me, and then we need to process it because there's some things that I do like, don't like about it, and maybe the majority of you maybe have heard about it. And it just looks at the nuances of social media, kind of why it was created and all that jazz. But we kind of want to dive into that, but not from that perspective. We kind of more want to talk about, man, social media can be actually a really beautiful thing. Like it can literally be so impactful, so great, so wonderful.
Yep.
But it also has its downsides. And I feel like at the end of the day, that's with everything.
Right. Totally.
Even the specialty coffee industry, you know, when people are just getting into it, it's like, oh yeah, this, and that. And then once you get really into it and you realize like, it's not all dandy.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, like a mentor of mine once told me, every problem in the world is a relationship problem. I don't think social media is going to be absent of that, right? Especially because social media is driven by, or is supposed to be driven by, connection and community. Yeah. The goal is to connect, right? When MySpace was around, like,
dude, shout out to Mark, or what's his name?
No, he was my only friend in the beginning. Like, what's his name? Yeah. What was his name? Joe? No. I honestly don't remember. Good old MySpace. But anyway, now it's Justin Timberlake's platform. I don't know if he still owns it. Maybe he sold it.
Oh yeah, right.
But MySpace. Remember when Facebook popped up? Was what meant for college students to connect. Mm-hmm. So like all of social media was driven by this idea of like connection, right? Community. And then at some point relationships get, difficult, because all relationships are difficult, and it starts to break down, and there's a little bit of that negative aspect that floats in.
That's so true. It's, man, the fact that the whole concept, could be already a completely different episode, but the concept of relationships, like, I doubt anybody has had a perfect relationship.
Oh no, yeah.
There's always, a problem here, disagreement there, and I think that's okay. That's appropriate.
Yes.
We're different. We're all unique beings. You and I, we grew up in the same household. We, pretty much brought very similar ways. Yeah. Same. We lived in the same locations, but you and I are very different.
Yeah.
And that's like, how can we embrace that? Hey, we're all different people.
Yeah.
And we function differently, and we think differently, and we see the world differently. And oftentimes that'll cause, the deeper that you connect with somebody, oftentimes that will cause some kind of friction.
Yes. Yeah.
Something I've realized is that, like, before you get really personal with somebody, it's easy to have a relationship at a distance.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, and would I even call that a relationship? Well, yeah. But, it's not the same.
Yeah.
And so, and that definitely, with the rise of social media and community, that did not change. That fact, the concept of the nuances of a community did not change.
Yeah.
So give me, so speaking of that, actually, given the last year's series of events, social media, the internet, Zoom, FaceTime, everything has become so extremely important to us.
Yeah.
It's how we've learned to depend on, to connect with each other.
Yep.
And one of the coolest things that we saw is there's been such an uprise during that time of really fun and cool coffee content creators.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm thinking one of the firsts for me was Alex Wallace. Dude, such a gem of a human, just awesome dude. And we connected over Instagram at the beginning of last year. And then we actually did a live with him when we were doing those brewing lives where we would brew every morning. He came on and chatted with us, and that was his first IG live. That was awesome. I think another one was Kyle. I always say Roswell, but it's Roselle, I believe.
I was about to say Roswell as well.
Yeah. I saw a post that he did. I wasn't following him. I think it was on my Explore feed. And I saw a post. He had a Maple Leafs jersey. And, I'm a hockey fan and love the Canucks. And I saw the Maple Leafs jersey and I was like, who is that? It's autographed. I'm like, is that a Matt Sundin autographed jersey? And I think I literally DM'd him and said something about that. We started talking. I started following him. And now I absolutely love his content. You know what I mean? He was a great one. There's a lot. What about you?
Yeah, I think one of the first like people that stood out to me was Jimmy the barista from Colorado and Denver. And just like such a good, you know, I don't know, you know, such a good lad. You know, I don't know what else to call that, you know, but yeah, he's just such a good guy, and we've been able to connect. We've shipped him some coffees, enjoyed some coffees with him, and we just you know, since then, I believe he started his Instagram account, his coffee Instagram account, around the same time that we started Mirror and our account. And so being able to grow with him, and also just like to keep, to stay connected, and just every once in a while, like we'll catch up in the DMs, you know, and comment a couple things. And it's just been such a pleasure. Another one, Alexander Mills. Yeah, we call him the Mills.
Legend.
The legend, the OG. He's been an awesome content creator that challenges me as a creative. His content is just so excellent, so great. He's always posting, and how he communicates and how he gets creative over around a cup of coffee has been just so unique. I'm like, man, that's so great. Like I didn't think of that, but you did. And it's always challenging me as, you know, a photographer, a content creator. So that's been fun. And then recently we've talked a lot about, you know, the journey.
Yes.
The journey.
Yeah.
And the first thing that caught my eye with him was his tasty Ikawa photos.
They're always lit so well.
It's
insane.
Speaking of leading lines, like the way he uses his shadows and his light that comes through, and how intentional it is, just everything. I've just really enjoyed it. It's a super simple, super just clean.
Yeah, it's excellent. It's like his aesthetic and his whole feed, the way it's so cohesive. Like, man, it's an Enneagram 1's dream.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And so it's just such a pleasure always, and also gleaming inspiration from him.
Yeah.
You know, that's been one of the coolest things that I've noticed over the last years, connecting with these content creators that started posting and creating around coffee and educating people and sharing their experiences with coffee, which is so cool. Like, I don't know if that was the case before, but maybe it's just because I've gotten more into the Instagram coffeegram thing. But it's been cool to see all these creators rise and share their experiences, share what they're tasting, enjoying, cupping, brewing with different brewing devices. It's been so much inspiration to glean from, and to always just be kind of encouraged by when I'm not feeling the most inspired.
Yeah, totally. And I think all of those creators, all of them have one thing in common. They always pursue connection. Like the way they ask questions, the way they engage their audience, they always pursue that and put that forward, which is awesome. And it makes it very approachable. Like, you know, today I was talking to Alex, I was talking to Journey on my DMs. Like, that's approachable. I don't know when in history could you have had that kind of amount of connection to be able to just contact someone and get a reply and be able to foster that dialogue, you know, whether it's over Maple Leafs jersey or seeing a new coffee on bar with Alex, or I think with Jimmy, what caught me was his wife was designing those, what are those like posters, like brewing posters?
So beautiful.
I was like, dude, that's beautiful. And started connecting with him over that. Like, there's these elements of connection that foster a community, that nurture community, and that make it possible. And I think that's the beauty of Instagram, and that's the beauty of social media, whether that's TikTok, YouTube. For us has been a big one. Like, we've connected with a lot of people on YouTube.
That's been bonkers, actually. People finding our YouTube channel, and, you know, watching even the podcast. So much great, just positive feedback. People reaching out. Like, I still have unread emails that I need to get back to right now about people just being like, hey, man, I'm trying to start a roasting company. Can you answer a couple questions? And I'm like, yeah, I want to be a resource to help.
Yeah.
And the fact that people can just reach out to us and then we can initiate conversation, but also like we've been on like maybe 5 Zoom calls
Yeah.
of people around the country, across the border in Canada. And we've even jumped on a Zoom call with somebody in the UK
Yeah.
who's starting a roasting company.
Mm-hmm.
Just crazy. That potential of connection is insane. And there's never been a time when we've been able to do that. Just never.
Yeah. Yeah. And it all leads to like deeper relationships. Like social media is not the end goal.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not the point. Social media isn't the point. Social media drives us to be able to relate well with each other. And if that's not the goal, then we're doing social media wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I think it's easy to get lost in the rustle and bustle of social media, especially if, speaking from my experience, it's kind of a lot of my what a lot of my work and jobs, like my regular day job, has to do with. And so that's been kind of strange because I just see things through differently. But yeah, like the end goal is to relate, connect, and some of our IG lives, like my IG live with Alex Wallace, I remember that like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
It was so refreshing.
Yeah.
I'm like, it was such a pleasure to just hang out with you, brew a cup of coffee and just talk coffee.
Yeah.
What's your story like?
Yeah.
How'd you discover coffee? It's just like so insane. And I hope that someday, like Alex Wallace will be sitting here
Yeah.
with a mic and we're recording a podcast, or
Yeah.
Journey, or, the Mills, or
Yeah.
Kyle, like these people that we've had the ability to connect over Instagram and these social media platforms. I can't wait until we run into them at, SCA.
Exactly.
Or
Yeah.
anywhere, like that's
Yeah.
going to be a beautiful moment.
Yeah. But with all that said, not everything is, rainbows and butterflies on social media. There's also a lot of, negativity, a lot of things that isn't really beneficial to connection and growth. I mean, just talking to Journey about what happened with him in that giveaway, like someone got upset because someone else, won it and they already had one. They wanted to give it away, like in that tension and being in anger and like, in a sense, you and I talked about this, like what social media does that is good can also be flipped in very, very like bad and very negative. The dehumanization that happens over social media, because sometimes it feels so different or distant. I mean, like you see a person with 12,000 followers or a blue check mark, and all of a sudden it's not a person, it's a profile picture.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it's not a person, it's a blue check mark. And for some reason in our mind, something clicks and it feels like, oh, it's okay to trash on a person like that.
Yeah.
Because we forget that there's actually like flesh. There's a human body behind that profile picture that has emotions that, that deserves to be valued, And I think that's the danger, is when social media becomes a platform where it's easy to dehumanize someone.
Yeah. And it's easy to forget that, at the end of the day, we're all human and we all go through very similar things. And like every person that you meet or don't meet, walk by, everybody has a really complex life.
Yeah.
Like, and I get it. You can say, oh, the rich just have less problems. Well, I don't think so. I get it. Somebody's better off than somebody else. Yeah. But somebody has different problems and different heartaches and different pains than somebody else. And to be able to just throw these assumptions on people and forget that they're human and that they have certain life experiences, and then it gets easy to be able to just, oh, I'm just gonna write something nasty to them over their post or their story. Like it's crazy how many people that I've heard their stories of, like when they have something that went viral and they get swamped by these negative, just horrible comments.
Yeah.
And they're like, I feel depressed. I feel in pain and sorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's actually challenging for people to go through stuff like that. It's crazy.
I think even, maybe I'm wrong, but I remember even Joe Rogan, when he was at his prime, and maybe he's still at his prime. I don't know. I haven't listened to Joe in a while, but when Joe Rogan was talking about this, he was like, dude, he doesn't read that stuff. In most very like prolific online personas, people, they don't, because of how taxing on your mental health it can be. Like it becomes very, very difficult. And I think before we comment, before we attack someone, before we give our opinion, we need to walk in with an ability to listen, to understand, instead of listen to answer.
Yeah.
And what is that? That's basic relationship advice. If you ever go to counseling or therapy, that's one of the first things that's going to be told.
Yeah, and that's I'm glad you brought that up. That going back to like, you know, physical relationships, like in person, like that the same concepts still apply.
Yeah.
Listening is absolutely fundamental. You know, it's essential. And yeah, I think social media has, you know, with what we talked about with dehumanization and just not seeing them as people, and then also not the fact that like we just don't want to listen, or the fact that like in one post you can't share everything you think.
Yeah.
It's so limiting. It's literally limiting. You know, you have certain amount of characters in your feed post where in a conversation like this over a table where we can talk, imagine how many ideas that we can bounce back and forth in comparison, in contrast with, you know, one feed post.
Yeah.
One photo, one caption, one comment. You're not getting the bigger picture. You're not actually understanding somebody's heart. You're just getting a little glimpse, and then you're making an assumption. You're building an entire narrative about this person that may not be even right.
Yeah.
You know, and it kind of goes down to also like, how can we, instead of assuming the worst in people, how can we assume the best?
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, a big thing for me, like I've realized at one point, I had this very, you know, mind shift where like I accidentally cut somebody off, and it was not because I tried to intentionally. It was that I just didn't see them in my, like in my blind spot.
Yeah.
And then that something clicked in me, and I'm like, oh, that was an accident.
Mm-hmm.
They might be mad right now. But how many times has somebody cut us off and we've wanted to flip them off, yell at them, you know, go tell your friend about how bad of a driver they are.
Yeah.
When in reality, maybe they just didn't see you, or maybe they're hurrying to work, or maybe worse yet, maybe it's an emergency of some kind. Like, how can we assume the best? You know, like we see a post that rubbed us the wrong way. How can we be like, no, what if that person means something well? It's just the way I'm receiving it is different. Or maybe I need to ask another question, or two or three.
Yeah, exactly. And at the end of the day, that's the goal on social media, is to engage and have conversation, right? I think a lot of it, what you were just saying, like like giving people the opportunity to be able to like get a break in a sense. Like, I think if we don't approach it with the idea of like first allowing that to sink in and challenge us, like, you know, one of the first aspects of like, for example, at work, when something goes wrong for me, I have to walk away and process that and be like, why am I upset? Why did that rub me the wrong way? Maybe I'm at fault. And if through social media, within our engagement on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, if the first thing we ask is, why is this affecting me that way? Instead of it's them, if we look at ourselves first, I think we won't produce as much negativity on social media.
Yeah. And that's honestly so hard to do.
Yeah.
It's so difficult to do. Like, even also, like, not even counting social media, but even on a personal level, like, it's so hard to, instead of blowing up and flailing your arms and you said this, it's like, how can we just like quiet down, ask these questions, and learn to listen, be quick to hear and slow to speak, you know, like, and that's hard. But it's even harder on social media when you're receiving hundreds of pieces of content every single day. It's just flipping through your screen and your brain is storing all these things. It's challenging, and it's something that I continue to grow in and I learn in. And I'm like, I hope that we can challenge the people listening here, is like, how can we learn to do that on social media and be better, you know, not better citizens, but essentially better citizens of the web, you know, so to speak.
Dude, I've been to cities that have smaller populations than some of our friends who have Instagram followers. Like Alex Journey, like I think Journey's about to hit 12K. Like, I know I've lived and spent time in cities that had under 12K population.
Yeah.
Like, imagine how much influence and how much you have to process. Like, dude, I think, let me pull up this quote that Alex and I were talking about, and he said, and I think this is also a fun way to kind of sum it up.
Yeah.
Gosh, I should have had it ready. Sorry. He said, I think too many people assume everyone has ill intention rather than just trying to be a part of a community that can be beautiful and you can learn a lot from. And earlier he also said, like, man, we got to just stop taking this seriously. It is serious. Like, it's not a joke, but at some point we just, dude, need to relax.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Need to enjoy this journey, enjoy this process. I don't know. Like, I think a lot of people on IG don't expect to grow, like to have a following of like 10,000, 20,000. Sometimes it happens unexpected, and sometimes we're just not ready for that.
Yeah. And giving those people a break.
Yeah.
And showing some sympathy, some empathy, some love to those people. They need it, like we all do. We all need the love. We all need to we need kindness, you know? And we need to be kind to other people. So I don't want to say any more over that Alex Wallace quote. I think it's a freaking amazing way to wrap it up, touch it up. So thank you guys so much for watching. Everybody who we talked about, we're going to throw into the description of this YouTube video. If you want to go and follow them, please do. Phenomenal content creators. Slide in their DMs. Be like, yo, thank you for being such an awesome content creator.
Yeah.
Because it's refreshing to hear that. I've heard that, and it's freaking refreshing. So go and share some love. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys, or listening, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. And I guess that's a wrap, you guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys in the next one.